Hey there, Adam here, Ultimate Real Estate Investing. Wanted to shoot a quick video on Bandit Signs. This month is Marketing Month. That's the topic of the month. We wanted to go over how to do a Bandit Sign campaign. For those of you that are newer, what is a Bandit Sign campaign? It's those corrugated plastic signs that you see posted up on telephone poles. Typically they say "We buy houses," but there's other companies that utilize that form of marketing as well. It's a great form of guerrilla marketing. If you're not familiar with guerrilla marketing, it's simply not really having a specific target audience. You're not sending a direct mail campaign to someone in foreclosure or probate or that type of thing. This is sort of out there for the masses to see. You're trying to reach as many people as possible, trying to get obviously seller leads. I know you guys it's probably hard to read the board. But it's, I'm going to go over everything on it. It's really just more for me to kind of keep track of where I am in the video here. So a great way to get seller leads. Something that's missed by a lot of newer investors is actually a great way to build your buyers list. There's a lot of investors that drive by, myself included. And if you see a new Bandit sign that you haven't seen before, I always pull over, jot down the number, give them a call, see who they are. Are they rehabbers? Are they wholesalers? What are they doing? What are they looking for? What sort of volume are they doing? So it's a great way to sort of build your network, build your buyers list as well. So that's one good thing for you. It's sort of killing two birds with one stone because you're getting a better bang for your buck, so to speak, in terms of getting seller leads and being able to build your buyers list. But it's a great way also for you to keep that in mind for yourself so that when you see them, you can call those signs as well if you haven't thought about that before. So you can reach out to people and build your buyers list that way too. Cost is relatively inexpensive in terms of marketing. You can probably buy about 100 signs for under $200. And there's some variables to that. There's some smaller signs that are cheaper, bigger signs. There's double-sided. If they're double-sided, obviously you're not going to post them on a telephone pole. But there are metal stakes that you can put in the signs to put them in the ground so that traffic can see them going both ways. And there's also, if you want multiple colors, that's it's going to cost you a little more. But regardless, it's still relatively inexpensive. Posting cost, there's sort of three different ways to do it. It's free if you do it yourself. Okay, you got to pay for gas, obviously, and it's your time, right? And you don't want to be doing that if you're looking at building your business and working on your business as opposed to continually working in your business, right? However, if you're starting out and you want to post some signs, and it's actually a good thing to do just so you can actually learn and kind of go through the experience of posting them. It's free if you do it yourself. There are actually companies that can post them for you. Cost is about $1.75 a sign. So that comes out to be a little more expensive than if you go the third route, which is simply hiring a subcontractor, whether it's an intern or a college student that needs a little more money in their pocket. You're going to pay them about $10 an hour per sign, which is a little cheaper. So the give and take here is, if you hire a subcontractor, you're going to pay less, but it's going to be sort of more of your time in management, right? In terms of finding, training, right? Hiring these subcontractors, dealing with turnover. When somebody quits, you got to do the whole process over again, as opposed to having a company do it. You pay a little bit more, but then they take care of all of that back end. So it's up to you in terms of how you want to run your business and, if the cost is important to you or not. So how do you do it? A lot of newer investors, I think, take sort of a relaxed approach to their Bandit sign campaigns, which I think is a mistake. A lot of them are disorganized, they're inefficient, they're not systematic. They sort of think, I'm going to drive around, I'll throw some signs up and I'll get some leads and great, right? That's what they think, which you'll get some leads. However, if your Bandit sign campaign isn't organized or systematic or efficient, odds are the rest of your business isn't, right? You can't have multiple marketing campaigns that are disorganized, non-systematic, and not efficient, right? So as simple as it may seem to have a Bandit sign campaign, you have to have it be organized, systematic, and efficient, right? You want it to sort of run smoothly on its own, generating leads so that you can work in other aspects of your business, which was part of the thing that we'll go over. How to physically do it, I actually have one of our sign staplers here. Here's a little plug, www.signstapler.com, right? I'm not even getting paid for that. But this is what it is. You know, it's a pole. It's a hollow tube, really, plastic. It's got a stapler in the top. You put your signs in this metal bracket here that faces up towards the stapler. All you do, you drive up to a telephone pole, you run outside, you got your sign in place, right? You run up to the pole, boom, you smash it in place, right? These staplers work just by pressure, by hitting it, right? And they staple. So you run up to a sign, boom, literally 5 seconds out of your car, your sign is up, you're back in your car, and you're driving to the next telephone pole. All right, so www.signstapler.com. These things are about $100, but they're well worth the money. Now, other questions to consider when implementing your Bandit Sign campaign, or I have here your effective Bandit Sign campaign, right? Is you see most of the signs out there now have "We Buy Houses," right? It's the typical message. And you know, have you ever thought about why everybody uses "We Buy Houses"? Right? I mean, it is somewhat effective. It's noticeable. People sort of know the message you're trying to put out there. But in my opinion, it's not the best message to put out there. We've used other marketing messages on our Bandit signs that are very effective, and it's because it's more geared toward a seller benefit, right? If you know anything about marketing, and if you don't, you should read some books on marketing. But We Buy Houses isn't geared toward a seller benefit, right? You're telling them something about your company. Now, obviously, there's an indirect logic, right, that leads them to know We Buy Houses. Hey, I have a house to sell. I will call them. I know that seems simple, but the conversion rate is higher if you have something that's more of a seller benefit, right? It's something that we go over with our marketing consulting services. Some of those sort of seller benefit messages that you can put out there, which will actually, you know, separate you from the rest, right? Everyone's going to have We Buy Houses. People sort of are used to it. Some people may simply drive by because it's just another thing that they're used to seeing. But if they see a different message, right, that may grab their attention, especially if it's a seller benefit message, right? So it's something to think about. Other things you need to consider: how many signs do you post per route or per town? That depends on the size of the town. But we go over all of this. How long does it take to post a route, right, or a particular town, or how long does it take to post any number of signs? It's something that you need to know, not necessarily if you're doing it yourself, but it's actually one good reason to do it yourself, so that you know how long it takes. But it's more if you're hiring a subcontractor, so that you know what to pay them, right? If you know, for them to post 30 or 60 signs and it takes X amount of hours, you know sort of the window that they should be in, so that if they're giving you their hour sheet, right, and they've posted 60 signs and they're telling you it took them 8 hours, well, you know something's up, right? So you need to know those sort of questions or those details in terms of how, implementing your campaign. So other things that are to be considered: how can you ensure that your signs are actually being posted, right? You're sending somebody out there, right? What ways can you ensure that they're being posted without actually having to drive out there yourself and make sure, right? That's the last thing you want to do. You're paying somebody to do that. The last thing you want to do is have to drive out at 10 o'clock at night to make sure your signs are posted. So there's ways to handle that. How do you create a route to ensure that the signs are posted in the exact spot per town, right, on the exact day and hours that you want them to be posted? Now, that's important, right? You want to create a system where you have certain areas, right? There's a way to actually find highest traffic areas, right, which we go over. So you want to make sure that they're actually posted in the highest traffic areas in the exact spots that you want, in the town that you want that weekend or that day or whatever your campaign dictates, at the exact hour, right? Do you want them going out there at 9 a.m. or 10 o'clock at night, or, right, there's reasons to do those things or not to do those things. Okay, so those are other very important questions to consider. And also, I mean, basically, how do you put it all together, right? How do you create an organized, systematic, efficient Bandit Sign campaign where you have every single town that you want to hit, right? You have them organized in the order that you want them to be hit, so to speak, right? To market in, and how do you organize it all in your office so that it's a very seamless system, so that if your subcontractor quits today, you can find somebody and train them quick tomorrow and have them seamlessly restart the campaign the next day, right? That's exactly how efficient you want to be, right? So it's putting it all together. How can you simply have it organized in your office, hit forward, and have that new subcontractor have everything in front of them, right? And know exactly where to go, where to post, how you're going to track it without having to leave your office. Okay, so these are all questions that are very important that we go over with our marketing consulting services. So something as simple as a bandit sign campaign that you may think, I'm going to go out and post some signs. If you want to do that, your business is going to reflect that, right? The money, the income, the leads that you make is going to reflect that. If you have a very organized, systematic, very efficient way of handling your bandit signs, something as simple as your bandit signs, right? You're going to be better in organizing and being efficient in your overall business. So anyway, I hope you guys took something out of this. If you want a recap of this video and the information that I went over, I know you probably can't see it, but if you go to our blog at ultimaterealestateinvesting.wordpress.com, we'll have a little blog, a recap of this. It's a new blog, so there's not a lot of information on there, but there will be, so keep up with it. And we'll see you next time.